Welcome to Absolute Legends. I am Fragarnces, I am Pete, I am back, and this is a requested video from Salgul, who, I hope I say that right, he asked for me some of my favourite 80s powerhouses, and hopefully these are 9 of my favourites. I could do a part 2 if you wanted, but these are the first ones that came to my mind instantly without even thinking twice about it. They're all great in their own right, but there's some a little bit more challenging than others. There is one that's a bit more tricky to find in all of them. I'll go through that in a minute. But as always, Salgul, I hope you enjoy this. This is some of the best from the 80s. It's also good because it's the decade that I was born in. So yeah, we can't go wrong with this. So we're going to start off with an iconic one. I can't really say I couldn't. This is one of the first ones I instantly thought about. And it's from Davidoff. And yes, it's cool water. It's still dirt cheap. It's so ridiculously cheap. But yeah, it still works now. Don't ask me how. It just does. It still works. And I think it's because it's almost like the first blue fragrance, really. I think this is how I would call it. Seawater, tobacco, we've got rosemary. It's kind of like a bit like Acqua di Gio. It has that sort of notes in it, especially, I think it's the new Parfum one. Oak moss, especially neroli. What can I say? It's still dirt cheap. I think 100 mils is about sub 20 quid. That's insane. And this still performs better than most fragrances nowadays. It's an absolute classic. It's still brilliant. I mean, they've got so many flankers from this. I think it's absolutely insane. But the originator still does it for me. I still wear it. I mean, if you can look at the bottle, I've still had a dent in mine. Like I said, you've seen how many phrases I've got. That's a dent in it. Amazing fragrance, and quite frankly, I couldn't start a 1980s fragrances without this one first. So first one is Cool Water by Davidoff. Right, the next one up now. This is where I get a little bit controversial, but that's fine. This is the reformulation version. I haven't got an original version of this. I've tried to find it. It's very hard to find. So from the house of Dior, this is Jules. Now the 1980s version is a little bit stronger than this one, but this one is very close to it. So I have smelt it. I've not got a bottle. So this is my compromise. But it does have that nostalgic 1980s vibe with lavender, carnation, rose, so all the classics in here. Tonka, it's got almost fir, caraway seed. It's got all the things that you'd expect in a 1980s. Let's not just say that was better. It's very much for the over 30s plus. They will really love this one if they're into like the old school fragrances, like a bit of polo green, that sort of style fragrance. It's a little bit more spicy than that, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. Now, this one is like an easier version to find. If you've got a vintage version, slightly just saying. But this one, I think, is just as adequate, and it does the job just as well. So, from 1980, 2 years before I was born, that is Dior and Jules. Right, and just to also say, this is in no particular order. I just thought I'd tell you that. These are just the ones that instantly came to my mind, so I've just picked them up. They're in no particular order, so I like all of them in different ways. The next one is still it's still dirt cheap, but it is a synthetic bombshell, and I think you might know what it is. It's the classic Joop Homme. Now, I haven't got a spray version. I got given one of these ones where you have to dab it, but again, this one is a vanillic bombshell. It's also got vanilla, honey, tobacco, lemon, cardamom. It's got like a ton of notes in it. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is definitely more the colder weather time. This one is where you'd wear it. There is better versions of this. I would say the EDP or the Parfum version is better. It's more modernized, but still, this one will get the job done. If you really wanted a sweet, syrupy one, it performs like a beast. Even the newer versions of this, it's just crazy how much this projects off my skin. It normally does for everyone else. So this one for me is absolute classic. It it's probably had its time, but I still have it just for nostalgic reason. And occasionally it comes out. I'll wear it once or twice, maybe a year, and then that's it. It goes back in the rotation in the collection. Again, most people might not like this one, but for me, this is Joop Homme, and it had to be here. Right, the next one I think has been discontinued, and for the longest time I remember, this was so cheap. It was absolutely insane. I think it was like 25, 30 quid, and now it's bumping up to 60, 70 quid. So I do think it's been discontinued. It's probably the most underrated one out of the whole of this line. 1981, this is Cartier, Santos de Cartier. Oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. And again, it is just very much of the 80s, and you will know straight away when you smell it. Juniper, lemon, it's got the classics in here. Lemon verbena, nutmeg, it's got peppery, it's spicy, but you do instantly smell the 80s. I just can't describe it any other way. It's got like spiciness, it's got almost like nostalgia to it, even a bit of sandalwood. It's just the way it's been put together. It is a classic, and again, I would wear this colder weather, and it's gonna have to be your 30s and ups, because most of these younger guys will not appreciate it, and that's completely fine. I have no problem with that. Us older guys know about these things. If you can find a bottle for like 60 or 50 quid and you want to have a bit of a nostalgic moment, try and find this one. Honestly, it's so criminally underrated. And from 1981, this is Cartier, Santos Cartier. Right, next two kind of similar, but they're not, and I'll explain why. They both came out in 1981, and they do very similar things, but slightly different ways. So this one is the classic Kourus. Let's face the fact, this is getting discontinued, and this will get harder and harder to find. I think I've only got a 50ml bottle, but to be honest with you, this will last me the rest of my life, because I don't wear it that often. If I do, I probably wear the silver one. It's a bit more easy to wear, or body one. But this one is an absolute beast. It's got aldehydes, which again is very animalic. It's got some serious oomph on it. Leather, musk, amber. It's got loads of stuff in it. Honey, even a bit of vetiver, and it's not for the faint-hearted. I will be honest with you. This is pretty much a nuclear beast. Try and find it if you want it. It's not essential to have it in your collection, but for me, I had to have it. I've got, I think, nearly all the Kourus apart from maybe one or two, I think, and then I've completed that out. But this one, the originator, it certainly stood the test of time for a long time, but now I think it's going to go, because everyone wants like this sweet vanilla fragrances. This kind of got pushed into the side, and that's how things are sometimes. But if it comes back in style, my goodness, this will be absolutely epic. So for me, this is Yves Saint Laurent Kourus. Right, same year, similar sort of vibe, but this is a little bit easier to wear, I'll be honest with you. And again, I thought of one, I thought of the other. So this for me is a classic. This is Chanel anateaus, and again, this is a little bit easier to wear. It's a little fresher than Kourus. I think the lime and the lemon off the top does make it a little bit more palatable, but still it is a bit of a beast. Rose, oak moss, basil in here. Again, oak moss is going to be predominant. It's what the reason that they had powerhouses. Oak moss was one of the big reasons for that. Touch of patchouli in this. I would wear this actually a bit more often if it was a bit colder in the UK, but I do forget about this one. I've got to be honest. When you have as many as I have, you do forget about the classics, and this one for me, I would wear late autumn, start to winter, just as a throwback, because no one will expect you to wear this, because it's old, it's pretty much dated, but I think it's still got a great place. I still think it's actually quite wearable, considering even nowadays, and it's a great one, and I don't think it's being made anymore. I could be wrong with that, but it's a great little number, and again, an 80s classic if I ever saw one. So this is Chanel anateaus. Right, last three, and the next one is probably the easiest to wear. It's blind buy safe, I would say, for a majority of people, but it still has that throwback feel, and for me, I think it's the best one you could have. It's from 1986, and this is Calvin Klein Obsession. This is still, I think, about 25, 30 quid. It's dirt cheap. It's phenomenal. It has got some amazingness. Grapefruit, vanilla, amber. So again, vanilla, amber, I'm kind of going to love it anyway because of that combination. Carnation, musk. It's an easiest one to wear. Again, I don't wear this as enough as I should. I keep forgetting about these ones, and when you get pushed to the back and all the rest of it, you do forget. But when someone said, "Oh, bring out these ones," I saw this, I was like, "Oh my word, it's such a great fragrance." I do forget how good these are. They perform, some of them better than majority of the new ones that come out now. Some of them are absolute trash, but these old ones perform amazingly well. So one thing I will say about the 80s, they certainly made sure their fragrances were loud and proud, a bit like their music and all the rest of it. This one is a bit more subtle, but it still works absolutely fantastically well. So from 1986, this is Calvin Klein Obsession. Right, last two, and quite frankly, I think these are still quite iconic now, without a shadow of a doubt. The next one is, quite frankly, you see the bottle, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's Dior Fahreinheit. I could not have an 80s list without this 1988 banger, and it has spawned off a ton of flankers like Absolute, Aqua, Cologne. Those are all discontinued, which is sad. Le Parfum. But this one is the originator. This is not original formulation. I think this is, I don't know, quite a newer formulation, but it still performs. Again, it's that gasoline-y kind of smell, fresh with the violet leaf from it. So it's got nutmeg flower, it's got leather in here, it's got vetiver in here, it's just got tons of notes in it. A very unique fragrance. Again, I would only wear this in the very cold days, late autumn, start of winter. This one for me, classic as it is. So this is Dior Fahreinheit. Couldn't have it not in. Right, last but not least, and I had to have this one in, from 1985, it's Creed Green Irish Tweed. Yeah, the OG. So lemon verbena, iris in here. It's the slightly mineralized notes. It's an absolutely beautiful one. Ambergris, sandalwood, and violet leaf. It's an absolute classic. It is still about, cost far too much. I just have to say that. If you can find this for a reasonably good price, pick it up then. This cost me, I think, 160 quid. That's not cheap for this. The only problem I have with it, it doesn't perform as well as I'd like, but it is a fresher fragrance, so I kind of got to take the rough with the smooth. But in terms of smell, you can't really beat it. Anyone can wear this one. It does work any season. So for me, it had to be in this list without a doubt. And so this is my last one. This is Creed Green Irish Tweed. Right, so there you have it. My 9 fragrances from the 1980s. If you want part 2, let me know in the comments, and I'll try and find some more fragrances from the 1980s. But those are the original ones, so I thought. But it's always time to tell you what I'm wearing in Scent of the Day. Right, so my Scent of the Day, and it could have been in the list, but it's a flanker from the original one. I was talking about quite a while. I had just thought about it because I've just seen this, so I could do another one. This is Cartier. This came out in 2014. It's a beautiful lavender, fresh fragrance. Really nice. Now, I do think this has been discontinued, but my God, this is an absolute beautiful, fresh fragrance. Very nice. So if you haven't got this, you're very lucky. I think this has been discontinued. But as always, let me know in the comments what you've been rocking this week and what you've been wearing, because I love finding out new fragrances that people have been wearing. I just think it's fantastic. So my Scent of the Day is Cartier. Right, so there you have it. Some of the best from the 1980s. So Salgo, hopefully you appreciate that and you love that. If you want a part 2, I'll have to look through my collection because I'm sure I've got more from the 80s. But that was the original ones I thought about. As always, if you want a top 10 list, a phrase review, or a question, hit me up in the comments. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Get me to 2,000 subscribers, and I would love to give another giveaway to you absolute legends. So that'd be amazing as well. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram, link in the description box. I'm posting there most days. And as always, you absolute legends smell amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.